Hi, my name is Paul Council, and welcome to the second video in the series, Mastering Money. And today we're going to look at this notion of being able to see opportunities where other people might not be able to see them. Now, in the most recent video, I talked about my life as a potter. And in fact, it was a life that was always struggling around money, and I couldn't get the extra surplus increase in income to even remotely fund anything like a lifestyle. And so I was always in debt and always trying to catch up. So as I journeyed forward, I knew that two things had to be critical for me. You know, the first thing is that I had to learn all of those things about money and value that I hadn't been exposed to. And I wanted to learn as much as I could. I wanted to soak up every piece of information that I could actually get my hands on. Now, that required a couple of things. It required an ability to actually fund all of the learning that I wanted to undertake. But it also required an ability to, fund the current lifestyle debt or the current lifestyle needs that I had at the time. And so the only thing that I could really think of was what I was always used to, which is that whole ability to exchange your labor and time for money. So when I left the world of ceramics, I really wasn't trained for anything other than being a potter. So I didn't actually have a skill set that was, could be employed anywhere. So I really branched out and I started to get 4 part-time jobs, and that was based on being a labourer here and a few other things of that nature. But in the first year that I left that world of pottery, I generated a grand total of $51,000 within that whole business about exchanging your labour and time for money. But I also attended everything that I could attend, and I read everything that I could read. And one of the things that I understood is I had to change the mindset of being let's say, a labourer or a worker, and I had to do something a little bit more enterprising. I had to start seeing the world through frames of enterprise. I had to start seeing the world through frames of opportunity. So in fact, I opened up a little business, and through that business, which is the first year I was actually in business, I was able to change my income from $51,000 to $77,000. Now that's a reasonably substantial increase. But the big thing that I learned was that there's a whole set of business skills that, let's say, worker self doesn't actually learn. And when I started to understand those skills, and when I understood the mindset of the enterprise self and then the mindset of the entrepreneur self, I was able to take that business in the second year and increase it from $77,000 to $1.8 million. Now, when you think about a percentage increase, I mean, that's actually quite huge when you think about it. It was 2,337% increase simply because I started to see opportunities that weren't available to my old self. And the third year that I conducted that business, I turned it from $1.8 million into $3.4 million, which was a further increase of 189%. Now, the point in telling you this story is not to brag or anything like that, but it really, I just want to share this idea that often what happens is we go through life in the normal course of events just being a worker. And we have a worker mindset, and that worker mindset is really conditioned by the community, it's conditioned by the education, it's conditioned by the parents, it's conditioned by the environment in which you see, you've been brought up in. And it's often the case that mindset really wants to become so financially free, and they sort of want it to happen now, and they sort of, if it doesn't happen immediately, then it's sort of taking too long, and so they want to take this one giant leap to this, notion of surplus income, or this notion of increased profitability. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make, because there is so much conditioning taking place in the mindset of worker, that mindset that exchanges time and labor for money, that mindset that's sort of normally locked into this work stress, not enough time, not enough money treadmill. And so when I began to think about this, I said, look, I really need to reach down, and earlier I talked about some of those selves that we have available to us. Now, I reached down into my mental processes, and I discovered that we each have what we call an enterprise mindset. And the enterprise mindset has a specific function, and it's just to see opportunities. You know, the enterprise mindset is the mindset of opportunities, and suddenly when you switch that mindset on, you see opportunities all around the place for realizing the profitability that you like. But see, enterprise mindset doesn't actually have the skill set of being able to realize or manifest or have those opportunities start to process into tangible outcomes, because the skill set is still based in the worker mindset, because again it's the worker mindset that has been laboring away for all of these years. So I had to develop another mindset, and I had to develop the mindset of the entrepreneur. Now, the entrepreneur is the part of you that develops new skills. It's the part of you that can see an opportunity and realize that it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of repetition and a little bit of skills development and a little bit of increase in capacity over and over again. And the more you cycle through learning something new and then applying that something new and then repeating that and then adjusting it and tweaking it, the more you do that, if you cycle through those processes over time, then it's the combined sort of this internal team of worker self and enterprise self and entrepreneur self. When you put those energies together and then you direct them towards increased profitability, then they give you the absolute best possible chances of realizing the dreams that are important for you. And so that's all for me for this video, but stay tuned for video 3, where I'll talk a little bit more about the power of incremental improvement. And so until then, it's bye for me.